Hello, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome in on a Monday. We are ready to roll. We are back on the first gen series as it is April 5th, and we have done some things, we have purchased some things, and we got a lot of work to do. So we can certainly do that. Hope everybody's doing well. And pretty simple. Let me know how your Monday was. How was your Monday? That's all I'm looking for tonight. Obviously, we've got some things to talk about because, apparently people like to be stupid. But there is plenty to talk about from over the weekend. But welcome back to the first gen series. We may or may not have. That's interesting. We may or may not have purchased an auger, and then we were roughly at over 200 and some thousand. We are now down to 84,000. Ruh-roh. I wonder what that could be about. So I reckon we will go ahead and get on back to the farm and talk about where the money went. But very simple. Yes, we do have sports to talk about. Clearly. But just asking something simple from you tonight. How was your Monday? Let me know how your Monday was. Was it good? Was it bad? What was good about it? Just a simple question to get things kicked off here while we bring the auger back. As I said, it is April 5th. Things are looking well. And we're ready to roll. So, obviously, we do need to talk about the Tigers because, well, that's the stupidity point. We do need to talk about the Rams. If you're a Rams fan, let me know. And basically, we're going to be talking about stupidity tonight. Because, my God, it is the equivalent of basically taking your whole foot and putting it in your mouth. Not a fun activity to do. So we will get into that. I do have a college football topic that makes me look at this sport with even more apathy. And other than that, with it being April, that means that things are looking good. Oh, I missed the gate. Whoopsies. But things are looking good. We got the gate installed. You can see where most of our money went with a little something that we may or may not have purchased. We'll talk about that thing in a minute. So yeah, we've got to sell some things. We've got some other things to take care of. I need to build a bigger yard. And, yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of work tonight. So, hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in on a Monday. And, yeah, we're just warming the engines and, we shall get going momentarily. That's provided I can back up this auger first. Especially because we don't really need it right now. But it should be alright. Plus, I do kind of like that spot for, well, those two big things over there. Otherwise known as grain bins. But if you are just joining, I am asking a simple request from you tonight. How was your Monday? How did you kick off the week? Did it go well? Did it go bad? Let me know. Alrighty then. Our oats are looking good. We do need to get some fertilizer on them. But we did purchase this beauty right here. Shout out to BSL. Good old freaking Challenger. Looking good. We got the 535 baler. That does make the 180s. We did go ahead and purchase a Farm King rake as well. The Ford, it is kind of what it is. The seeder, I'm debating on getting rid of, possibly because we're going to need to get a bigger seeder. I see we have already done a test pass here. Looking wonderful. And then, of course, we have got ourselves a slother. That's looking smacksy. And then, of course, we have got the greenhouse. Water probably needs to be taken care of, but we can take care of that. We did get a water trailer. We also traded the Mrs. Jeep for a F-350. We also purchased another Iron Bull trailer. And, well, we have all of these things. This should be fun. We do have a couple of productions. We do obviously have the wood. And then, of course, we have this thing here, which is our cement factory. And I am really looking forward to playing with this simply because it is what it is, really. But the point is that it is something new. It is something that I am going to try. And eventually, when it does come to future projects, like maybe another shop, a cattle barn, getting the pad down for these beautiful bins. We can certainly use that. But obviously, I gotta be honest, this right here. Now, am I happy that she did a test pass? Yes, I am. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm pretty honest about things, and, well, I'm a little jealous, quite frankly. So, let's fire this up. Let's get the heads going. And, let's get into cutting some hay. And, we shall go from there. And we have got the other iron bull up here. We got to take care of some of these stumps. But to add to the vision, where we parked that auger, I eventually want to put something there. Meaning, more grain bins. Because we got a lot more land to clear, and it is going to be slow and methodical, because I don't really feel like spending $72,000 on a mulcher right now. So, yeah. This should be interesting. We also did pick up some pallets. So yeah, things are moving along on the first gen series. I will go ahead and mention that due to last week's paycheck, I did purchase some Patreons. So with that, I don't necessarily know if it will be this week. Maybe next week, we will see. But I am going to try and get out some more new content to you guys. And we'll see where it goes. Other than that, so let me be honest here. Things are a little tense, okay? And it's not tense with you guys. You guys have done nothing wrong. But look, I look at sports a very different way than most people. And that's just kind of what it is. And, well, that's where the word of the day is going to come in. Stupidity. Obviously, there was a massive trade in the NFL. A blockbuster on June 1. And we're going to get into that. We're going to save that for the second topic. Mainly because the second topic, it is something I like to call the main dish. And what I mean by that is that the main dish is we're talking, well, simply we equate it to food. It is summertime, you're probably grilling. So we're talking steaks. So that's what I mean when I say main dish. As far as the main topic, that's what it's about. It is the massive trade that did go down today in the NFL. We will talk about it. Look, I tuned into the radio and, things happen, I guess. But very, very simply, throughout the first 8 hours of the day, it was all right. Not going to say it was great, not going to say it was good, but it was all right. And look, with any fan base, you are going to have the people who can think for themselves and the people who just eat the team's gruel, especially in this town. But very, very simply, I came up with a question, and this is where we are going to start our usual Tiger talk, as the game has ended just a little bit ago. Tigers take game 1 of the Tampa Bay series 10-9. Okay, well, that's interesting. But that's not where the topic is going to lead to. I heard a lot of phone calls and a lot of text, or saw a lot of text today about firing someone. So here is my question. It is very, very simple. You got to pick one or the other. One person has got to get canned. The choice is yours. And of course, we'll do like we usually do. I'll give my opinion on it, and I will give you reasons why. But before we get into that, nightly Little League error check. Calculating 11 games back, 3-7 your last 10, 9-24 away. Oh yeah, and still 5th in the division. Very, very simply, we all saw what AJ Hinch did last night with Keider Montero, and it was malfeasance, if you want me to be honest with you. And a lot of people, that was their sticking point today. So door number 1 that you could possibly can is, in fact, AJ Hinch. Or is it everybody's favorite? And it ain't Scott Harris. Oh, no, no, no. Scott Harris is door number 3. Door number 2, when a team goes on a slide, the fans go crazy for one firing and one firing only. Your hitting coach. is door number 2. And as I just said, Scott Harris is door number 3. So you have 3 options. Now, could I add a 4th one? For sure. For fun, I could add a 4th. But we're not going to do that. I'm giving you 3 options. Who you canning and why. And look, I think you can make the argument for all 3 of them. But I will certainly give you my opinion and tell you why. And we'll go from there. I will say, though, this is looking like a pretty good hay crop so far. Don't really know how many bales we're going to get off of it, but yippee. So like I said, you got 3 options, and you can only pick one. Look, here's the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that more than likely, none of them are getting fired. And very, very simply, it is, it just is what it is. This is Cialis City. Oh, don't worry, we'll get into that very soon. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pull up AJ's comments. Now, thank God I didn't watch the postgame, because I would have put a nail through my TV. Very, very simply. Well, you know, matchups and stuff and sports and things. The fact of the matter is, and I said it last night, there were 2 hits, and Keider Montero was at 65 pitches. Do me a favor and tell me what data supports that. Funny how I did 4 hours of research and couldn't find a number that supports that decision. Well, that's mighty interesting. But very, very simply, I don't think there is a wrong answer here. It is the idea of that everybody's talking about it. And so we will too. So as far as door number 1 being AJ Hinch, do I believe that AJ should be fired? No, based on, I do think he is a good manager. But the fact of the matter is that, well, there's a couple of points. Let's say they did fire AJ Hinch. He would be scooped up in 25 minutes and hired. Secondly, AJ is working with a roster that was constructed by a chicken head. That chicken head is, in fact, Scott Harris. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you do want to bring up the Astros scandal, you're more than welcome to. You're not wrong in bringing it up. It's just, my point to you would be, how does that matter right now? We are in 2026. 2017 was, well, in fact, years ago. Now, what AJ did with Montero, do I see it as a fireable offense? Absolutely. As far as door number 2, your hitting coach. Look, when a team goes on a slide and the offense does not perform, and in fact, when it is a slide based on 182 games of pure data, it's, to me, a little too easy to say, fire the hitting coach. And then, of course, there is my shining star. Door number 3. Mr. Smug himself. Oh, well, you know, if there's the same faces and stuff, that doesn't mean it's the same roster. Yeah. What do you got to say about that? Or the comment about how I stay up at night because of this roster being a top 5 offense into a bottom 5 offense. Don't sit there and lie, Scott. Very, very simply. What's Alex Cobb doing right now? You know, the starting pitcher that you paid $15 million to, that basically never showed up. Or how about Maeda? How about we bring him back? How about Paul Sewald? Not enough? How about I interest you in Kenley Jansen? I said it last night, and I'll say it again. My problem with Scott Harris, and, well, quite frankly, the rest of the GMs in this town, is you do realize that in these leagues that days like today in the NFL or trade deadlines and free agencies and trades and all these other things, you do realize they were put into these leagues to, checks notes, make your team better, right? You do realize that. And look, if you do want to bring up the 2024 Gritty Tigers, you're more than welcome to. It is a data point. It is in the history books forever. My rebuttal to that would be, go ahead and look at the year, tell me what year we're in, and then go ahead and tell me how that matters in the now. That's the whole point. When we talk about the now in sports, it is very, very simple. It is the idea of that. That is what matters. And quite frankly, not looking good, Scott. Not looking good. But, it is 10:37. Maybe we can get a Scott Harris signing. Or sighting. Odd that nobody can find him with two hands and a flashlight, isn't it? Alright, so we did pick up some spray. We picked up some solid fertilizer, which we do need to take care of that. Is that solid fertilizer? I think it is. So we should probably do that. Shall I reckon? Okay then. Didn't need to hook up the seeder, but okay. My whole thing with Scott Harris is the roster construction. I mean, hell, we can go back to the day that Jansen was signed. I hated the signing based on the odd year that he had. Now look at him. Most blown saves. Uh-oh. But, whatever. But now, simply for me, it would be Scott Harris. And look, to me, when you take a presidential job in the sense of Scott Harris being the president of baseball operations, you not only have a duty to that job, but you also have a duty to the people. And I said it last night, so I have the right to say it again. Scott Harris is telling you that this is okay. That we are simply headed for a rebuild. And inevitably, when the season is over, at the end of season press conference, it'll be the press conference sponsored by Talking Points. Oh, well, Gleyber was hurt. Oh, well, Parker Meadows was hurt. Oh, well, this guy was hurt. Oh, well, that guy was hurt. Then he'll talk about his little smugness. He'll have his little crooked ass smile up there, and he'll shake his ass for the mic. And it's very, very simple. You can see it coming from a mile away. And I'll just be here and I'll be laughing my balls off. And then inevitably I'll have to defend Chris Ilitch, and then I'll feel dirty, and it'll be a good time. It'll be wonderful. So we'll get this done. We'll probably start teeting and raking. And then we will go from there. So I'm thinking, as far as crop rotation goes, I think we'll go oats into beans, and then eventually, if we can get a third field somewhere back there, we will go ahead and work on some corn. Um, but I think I would have to look at the script. But I know that there is a certain mod that tells you yield percentages and stuff like that. So we'll get into that. But I think we'll do oats and then we'll do soybeans. We'll see how it goes. Because what I would like to do is eventually future proof this. Because we are going to need the straw for bedding, for TMR, all that good stuff. Whenever we do get into cattle. And then we can just kind of go from there. Like I said, I do eventually want to expand these fields. I am hoping that we can get up to maybe 3 or 4 fields, something of that matter, to where we can kind of just go from there, and then we should have a steady crop rotation for when we do need it. All right. So I only used about 3% on this field. Make sure that I turn quick enough so I don't hit the truck. Put a bale spike right through the truck. And then I do have a just a small question for you guys. Do you guys prefer that I do talk about the different series, um, as a part of the stream, or do you guys like it when we do topics, so on and so forth? Try not to hit the shop. There we go. Nice. Alright, so I am really excited to test out this beautiful thing here. But we are going to use the good old Moline. Okay, maybe we're not. Never mind. Alrighty then. Well, that's a bummer. Alright. So we'll get to testing out the new tractor. And then we can go from there. That's good. Nice. Turning it into that dark color, that's what we like to see. So we'll get this raked up and baled. Then we're going to have to pull the Ford out again so we can fertilize this. And then go from there. I really like that Slother from Bronknema, I believe it is. I like the fact that it does come as a pack, as well as there is a pallet with it, so you can get like grease and blades and stuff with it. So that's kind of cool. I think that kind of adds to the mower itself, along with a little bit of gameplay, so that's kind of cool. And then we can go from there. Then I think we'll hop in the drone. We'll talk about some things with that. And then we will go from there. Missed a little bit, but I'll be all right. Just bail that up. But just starting out with our usual Tigers mention, and then we will go from there. We'll get into the blockbuster trade that happened. We will tie it to here. I am going to approach it a different way than the usual way. I'm also going to disarm the talking points. I am going to talk about a... oh, wow, there's a stump there. Wow. Okay, cool. But I am going to talk about a upcoming topic that we are going to play that is going to tie into a giveaway. And I will tell you, it is out of my own pocket, so you guys have nothing to worry about. I did mention earlier that I did purchase a couple of Patreons. So we'll talk about that as well. And, yeah, we're going to have a good time. So, and then obviously I do have one simple request. Let me know how you kicked off the week. How was your Monday? Did it go well? Did it go bad? Was it just eh? Let me know. As far as my Monday, it was interesting. And then, obviously, the word of the day is stupidity. And it ain't just because of the Tigers either. But as far as the Tiger topic, I gave you 3 options. AJ Hinch, Scott Harris, and the hitting coach. You get to run the team, and very, very simply, you get to can one of them. But a theme on the channel, as always, is you got to tell me why. I told you, in my opinion, it is very, very simple. It is looking at the roster construction. It is Scott Harris. For me, Scott Harris, a lot like the rest of these GMs in this town, they're cowards. Based on they don't utilize all their resources. And my point to you, the fan, would be is that you deserve better as a fan, but on top of that, let's apply this to the real world for a moment. You go into your job, not utilize all your resources, and let me know how that works out for you. The whole point is that when you take a job like a team GM, team president, so on and so forth, you not only have a duty to that job, but you also have a duty to the fact of the fans of that organization. And on top of that, well, you got to utilize all your resources. And I mentioned trades, free agencies, trade deadlines. A day like today in the NFL, post June 1. Very, very simply, as far as the NFL thing goes, the June 1, not only is it part of the off season, But we all know football is king. So this is raking up really nice. New tractor is working excellent. Nice to see that. And yippee. I will say that as far as the certain thing with the blockbuster in the NFL, texters were not only unhinged, but they were downright ignorant. Grow up. I mean, that first hour was a embarrassment. And I certainly ain't trying to get a strike on my channel, so I ain't reading them here. But you know who you are. If you're one of those people, shame on you, man. Shame on you. Stuff was embarrassing. The whole point that I would make is whether you like us, don't like us, whatever the case may be, keep your racial slurs to yourself. Scumbags. You want to come at anybody, you come at me. It was. That was just embarrassing. But hey, hope it was worth it. But hey, here's an idea. Instead of being mad at us, maybe be mad at your stupid team. How about that? Oh, wait, you can't do that because you like the gruel that you're fed. Oops. Alrighty. Teating is done. Do the good old equipment shuffle. Get the baler hooked up. We got to get the Ford hooked up on the fertilizer spreader. Again. And then I do got to show you guys that pallet real quick. We'll probably load up the trailer so we can go ahead and get those planks sold. And we'll go from there. But no, as far as earlier, man, that was disgusting. But hey, hope it was worth it. We've already contacted your employer and, well, we'll see how you like it. Alright, so we'll get these loaded up. I know we need to cut down some more trees and get this filled up. Yeah, we're only at 57, so need to get that filled up again. That worked out real well. Oops. But now, Macy's got a new truck. Looking good. Shout out to Hank the Tank for this one. I do like the red color. Got the black wheels. We got the crimson Iron Bull trailer looking good. Water tank is good. That's still got some in it. We do have some pallets ready to go, so that's good. Alright. Let's get it saved, and then we will get to baling. Alright. So... let's go ahead. Make sure that this is good to go. It's coming in as hay. We are locked and loaded. So I reckon, let's go ahead and let's get to this trade in the NFL. And that is where I'm going to come at this from a different angle. Because quite frankly, I'm apoplectic. This is on the list of topics that, quite frankly, I do not want to do anymore. It is the bold move for the Lions. And I know what you're going to say. Well, they couldn't be involved in it because they would have had to trade Hutch. And that's where I would tell you, stupidity. That's a narrow-minded way of looking at it. Based on Myles Garrett was traded today. Checks notes. Spent months dealing with texters who said Myles Garrett is never getting traded. Same thing with Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, Micah Parsons. Meanwhile, your GM comes out and stunts because he checks notes. Drafted Derek Moore. Wow. I'm so impressed. You finally listened and took an edge rusher. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, Brad. fact of the matter is that suggesting that you would have had to trade Hutch is not only a narrow-minded way of looking at it, but on top of that, that's when I know you'll hurl all your slurs at me and tell me I'm a bleep hole. How convenient. It's the principle of the matter. And that's where I would tell you, while Doug and Scott go ahead and tell you Lions couldn't get in on this deal because of the cap in 2028 and 2031. But they're just like the Eagles and the Rams. Right. The point is that very, very simply, Les Snead, Howie Roseman, John Lynch, John Snyder, those are the same GMs that are not only your competition, but they're killers. Because they go out and they make bold moves. And that's where we get into some of the opinions that I saw after the move happened. Oh, well, you would have had to trade Hutch. Cool. Who said that? Because I can go ahead and I can find the audio. The fact of the matter is, none of us said that. Now, I will say Doug and Scott did, which I thought was hilarious. My whole point to you is that in this town, these GMs, they're cowards. A lot like Scott Harris. They don't utilize all their resources. In the NFL, a lot like we saw today, draft capital is essential to make a big move. But hey, keep eating that gruel that you're fed. Maybe we can get everybody a bonnet. That way Brad can sit down and hold you and feed you the gruel. Maybe we'll get Doug in the room so he can give Brad Holmes a shoulder massage. What a sensual image, isn't it? Not only that, but you're hearing buzz about Josh Sweat, who's a Cardinal, going to Green Bay. Meanwhile, all you hear in this town, oh, you can't have two premium guys. Ooh. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett cap hit the next 3 years. 8, 16, and 21. By the way, tell me again, where's all the bills in house that the Rams have to pay? Same thing with the Niners. Same thing with the Seahawks. Now, is there time for Brad Holmes to be a killer? Absolutely. I think we all can agree in the draft, Brad Holmes is a killer. Look at the Tesla pick. Look at the Jack Campbell pick. The Jahmyr Gibbs pick. The whole point is the principle of the matter. This team wants to be good, not great. It's the same thing with all four of our other teams, or all three of our other teams. That's my whole point. We can sit here and we can discuss it all day long until we're blue in the face. You know how you get a Myles Garrett, a Micah Parsons, a Max Crosby, a Trey Hendrickson? You be relentless. And in fact, you be the villain. You know, Brad puts on this persona, this mantra, this image that he's a villain. Paying guys early and I mean, look at the Tesla pick. Traded 3 third-round picks for Tesla. Sick. Game where you're getting dusted in the first week of the season and, oh, cool. One-handed catch, bruh. Great. Yeah, but it's funny. All these other teams can get better. Why can't you? Oh, wait, checks notes. Because we're looking at the cap for 2031. Saw this opinion earlier. Somebody putting out a video of, oh, we'll just wait until 2029. That's when the Lions are going to make a big move. Okay, cool. So, checks notes. It's 2026. What are we supposed to do until then? Be fed the gruel? I mean, I said it last night. Look at what the Rams did in the offseason versus you. Rams went out, got McDuffie, got Watson, added to their cornerback room. Rams said, we have a problem, we're going to fix it. Meanwhile, we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs. That's the part that makes me incredibly angry. Incredibly sad for you, the fan. Because these teams, they ask you for time, money, and emotion, and then they hype you up, they get you riled up, they tell you, oh, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And then they give you a mirage. And now, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, 2034, 2035, 2036, 2037, 2038, 2039, 2040, 2041, 2042, 2043, 2044, 2045, 2046, 2047, 2048, 2049, 2050, 2051, 2052, 2053, 2054, 2055, 2056, 2057, 2058, 2059, 2060, 2061, 2062, 2063, 2064, 2065, 2066, 2067, 2068, 2069, 2070, 2071, 2072, 2073, 2074, 2075, 2076, 2077, 2078, 2079, 2080, 2081, 2082, 2083, 2084, 2085, 2086, 2087, 2088, 2089, 2090, 2091, 2092, 2093, 2094, 2095, 2096, 2097, 2098, 2099, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, Rams are prohibited favorites to win the Super Bowl. But hey, that's cool. We're sitting here with Larry Borum. And it goes back to the point I made about Scott Harris. Not utilizing all your resources. Sitting quietly at the trade deadline. I said it last night. What's an all-in move that Brad Holmes has made? Name me one. I'll wait. That's the whole point. Then on top of that, you hear these rumors about Josh Sweat. Meanwhile, what do Detroiters do? Sit there and wait for it to fail. Then tell you that their team can't try because of the cap. Meanwhile, we all know the cap isn't real. Otherwise, how did the Rams do it? And again, you mean to tell me that 8, 16, and 21? You wouldn't be able to fit that under the cap? I saw an even more hilarious take than waiting until 2029. Lions have a Super Bowl defense. Right. Based on what? Meanwhile, they hype it up the whole video and don't even tell you. They just tell you over and over about Jack Campbell. Or they tell you about Aleem. Like, that's the whole point that it just makes it even funnier. All right, so let me go ahead and test that real quick. Because I think we are going to need to wait for it. And if we do, interesting. Okay, very good. Thought we were going to have to spend some money there. Do I put it on the 350 or the dually? You know what? The missus is sunning and funning somewhere. And since she wouldn't let me test the 350, we're going to go ahead and test it anyway. Yeah, buddy. So we got 17 bales. We'll have to look at hay prices. Eventually, we are going to need to do a, a hay shed. And then, oh boy, this needs lime. Uh-oh. Okay, so we only have 3 pallets. Ugh. Yeah, I better go ahead and purchase. Oh, they're only $4.50. What? All right, let's do 4, and then that way we can go and pick that up. Alrighty then. I reckon. Let's see. Oh boy. Ew. Nice. And move that up. We'll put that down for right now. I'll run into the bale spike. That should be fun. And then we will keep trying to load bales here. But here's the thing. I'm going to go through the schedule, and I'm going to give you some teams that you are going to have to face in the postseason. And you tell me where you're at. Take your blinders off. And look, let's look at this realistically. Week 2, you got the Bills. Now, do they falter in the postseason? You betcha. Which way do I want to go here? Yeah, we'll just go this way. But week 2, you're at the Bills on Thursday night. And if you plan on going to a Super Bowl, you're going to have to go through the Bills. Then October 25th, you take on your nemesis. The guy who continually puts belt ass on you. And for some reason, you still can't respect him. That being your divisional foe, Green Bay. Now, look, as far as the Bills go, they're going to have to show it. But the Packers, they got your number. And not only that, but here's a hard truth. You'll tell me, well, 2 years ago, we put belt to ass on them. Okay, cool. What'd they do last year? Oh, wait. Beat you twice. Then it's the playoff game, which I believe is at home. It's the Buccaneers. And not only that, but they got some of your old players. Then I think the team that everybody's sleeping on is the Giants. The same team that took you to overtime. Now, do I think they'll get in the playoffs? Maybe not in year one. But my whole point to you is that this team took you to overtime last year. Oops. But sure. Don't let facts get in the way of a good narrative. Alrighty. Let's get a save. We'll see where we got to sell everything, and then we'll come back and do some more. All right, so then we already talked about the Rams. Rams you'll see in the postseason. And it'll be the storyline of Matt Stafford and oh, wow. Not bad. All right. So we got to head up to the shop anyway. So let's do that. And we will go from there. But now, if you do make it to the playoffs, pretty damn simple. You are going to face teams like the Rams, who in my mind, after today, yeah, they are the favorite. I think another team that people are sleeping on is Dallas. And look, when Dallas loses, America wins. I'll always stick with that. But look at their front four. And the point is that if I'm wrong on any of these, I'll admit to it. And then the other thing for me is that very, very simply, it is the fact of that, quite frankly, To me, this puts you, the Lions, as a wild card contender. And not only that, but last I checked, you know what the difference between you and the Rams is? Rams got something in the trophy case. Checks notes. You have a waiting list. Oops. Not only that, but they got a ring too. But as far as the whole thing about, oh well, Hutch would have to be in the deal. You're just telling me that you don't know what you're talking about. All right. 88 in sold bales as I run over one. Oh man, that's cool. I don't know why they wouldn't sell all together, but okay. Interesting. So we'll have to fix that, but and here's the other thing that I think Detroit or not Detroit fans, but Detroit GMs are scared of. It's job security. Les Snead, he ain't worried about job security. All right, so 96,665. That's not bad. Go ahead and throw these on the trailer. And back to the farm we go. So this one's kind of the same thing. I don't really have a number as far as years picked out quite yet. But this one we're just kind of gonna let flow. And look, eventually, um, this series will continue to another map. The point is that we got a long way before that goes, or before that is even an option. So, and then I do know that Wednesday, I am not gonna be on because of, I am gonna be quite busy, throughout the day. I'm getting some work done on the house. So yeah, Wednesday is not just, it is just not gonna work for me. But of course, like we always do, we will go ahead and rebound on Thursday, and then of course Friday. But look, very very simply, right now I would say my mindset is just grind. Just grind and just let it flow. Whatever game save I'm on will be the stream that night, and we'll just kind of go from there. And then we'll see what we can do. But I like the fact that every series is different. I like the fact that we have different mods for different series, and um, like I said before, I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into this, and really try and come up with topics and questions and really just all that, so that way we can do the things that we do. So since these are new, these are going to go over here. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I know that CM2 posted a new silo that looks absolutely sick. Cannot wait for that. So we'll talk about that. I may get into why I use Patreon a lot more than websites or anything like that. Like here's my thing. Well, in fact, I can just do it right now. The fact of the matter is that with Patreons, and the reason why I mentioned it is that, look, I think eventually, I think you end up maturing to a point where you're not just looking for certain mods, you are looking for quality, and you're looking for things that can actually okay then help grow the series in a way. And I think that's really the the most important part. And look, I think as you mature, I think the main thing is quality. And when it comes to quality and things of that nature, you don't just look for certain mods, you look for the fact of like things that can help improve the series. Like obviously with these bins being from JCL. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys that real quick. So it's the Ultimate Windrower pack, and then it comes with this palette. You can get disc blades, grease, and engine oil. And then if we hop in the Slother, you'll see those three in the right corner there. And I think that's kind of interesting, especially regarding gameplay. But no, I think eventually, I think we all want quality, and that's what we tend to look for. So, alrighty. So next episode, we will have all of the hay sold. We'll hopefully be up over 100 grand, and then we can go ahead and get into our oats, which would be, looks like July. Those will be ready. We'll probably have some more trees cut down by then, so we'll be able to sell some wood, get this thing running again. And then it's going to be about looking into a cattle barn as well as another shop. And then really it's going to be about going from there, guys. So that should be interesting. Hopefully the greenhouse will distribute some pallets so we can get those sold. Eventually we'll upgrade the house. And then it's really gonna be about getting cattle, expanding fields, utilizing productions, building more fields, and going from there. So, a lot of work to do still, but we are moving right along. So, I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you guys drop a like, drop a comment, as well as subscribe. And very simply, we talked about a couple things tonight. We talked about the Myles Garrett trade to the Rams. In my mind, the Rams are the prohibited favorite to win the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs talking about Larry Borom. As far as that goes as well, we did talk about the Tigers. And I gave you three options. I gave you three options between the hitting coach, A.J. Hinch, and on top of that, the A.J. Hinch, Scott Harrison, the hitting coach. You are running the team. You get to fire, you get to fire one of them. Who's your choice and why? My choice, very simple. Scott Harris. He's not doing his job. He's not utilizing all of his resources. And I don't like the smugness, quite frankly. So there's that. Um, I did see this over the weekend, the Eric Weddle saga with Bryce Underwood. We do need to go ahead and mention that. Um, we'll probably do that on tomorrow's stream. I did mention that obviously I want to know how your Monday went, as well as the fact of what do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer topics? Do you guys prefer questions? Or is it just me sitting here talking about the series and talking about the different things that we do on the farm? Which one? Please let me know. Because obviously I am trying to gauge you guys and understand what you guys like and want more of. I am going to try and get into some new stuff this week as well. And then, go from there. We also talked about the Patreon. I think as you mature with this game, it is the fact that you look for quality. At least I do. And with Patreon, that is exactly what you get. And if you would like me to dive deeper into that, I can. Obviously, that would have to be its own stream. And then, of course, I did mention Wednesday I will not be on, simply because it will just not be possible for me to do that because we're having work done on the house and all of that, and that would just be distracting. So, then of course we will rebound the rest of the week. We will get caught up, and we will go from there. So with that said, that is going to do it for me for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, drop a like, drop a comment. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the real MVPs as always. Love y'all, man. We'll catch you on the next one.